Hi guys, today I'd like to talk about blaming your shitty behaviour on equality. Now there's a couple of things I'd like to cover in this, that falls under this topic. One is, and this, hang with me guys because this is going to not sound so fantastic, but I'll explain why in a minute. The first one is not paying for your date. Now, don't go sitting there thinking, oh, but equality, women, this is a really horrible attitude to have, right? Women wanted equality, so now they can not get any help from us whatsoever. It's a really disgusting attitude to have, because although what we wanted was to be paid the same amount of money for the same job, to actually have the opportunities to get particular jobs in the first place. Women used to not be able to own property. They used to not be able to vote. What we want is access to all the things men have. Now, why is that a bad thing? And if you're one of these people who goes around saying, well, I'm not going to help that woman move that box because equality, that is really quite disgusting, because even though we should have all the same opportunities as men, it doesn't change the fact that biologically women are smaller than men. Yes, they can go to the gym and be as strong as a man. Yes, there are some women who are as big as men. Yes, there are some women that are taller than men. All the rest of it. However, generally speaking, women are still smaller than men. Men naturally are bigger and have more muscles. So if you're saying, I won't help that woman move that box because she wanted equality, that's really quite disgusting. The fact is, she's smaller than you. She doesn't have as much muscle as you, so help her move the frigging box. And if you don't, you're really quite disgusting, and you need to stop this attitude right now. Now, getting back to not paying for your date. Okay, now this is not so much a gender thing. This is you asked that person if you could take them out. So if you say, may I take you out? Pay for her. That implies you are shouting her. You are taking her somewhere. You are trying to win her over. You are trying to impress her. You are trying to get her to date you. So if you say, may I take you out, which implies I'm going to shout to you somewhere, and then you turn around at the end of the night and say, pay for yourself because equality. No, guys, that's really quite disgusting, and that will turn her off quick smart. Now, related to this, when I was growing up, my mother was religious, and she was part of this church, and they would have people over to dinner from the church, and it was just an unwritten law amongst them that if you were invited to another member's house for dinner, you would do the washing up. Okay, fair enough. But as I became an adult and I started inviting people to dinner parties, not religious because I'm not religious myself, but just general friends, and I would say, would you come over for dinner? I'm going to cook for you. At the end of the dinner, I did not turn around and say, now wash my bloody dishes. Because to me, those people are a guest. You invited them over to cook for them, to show them a nice night, and to spoil them. You didn't invite them over to scrub your pots and pans. If you invite someone to dinner, do the bloody washing up yourself. They're the guest. It's their night to have the dinner thrown for them and all the rest of it. If they wanted to stand around scrubbing pots and pans, they would have dinner at home. They probably don't want to. They probably would have bought takeaway because they don't like scrubbing pots and pans. Or they have a dishwasher and nobody has to scrub pots and pans. But then they get invited over to your place thinking, oh, someone's going to provide a lovely night for me. And then they have to scrub their pots and pans. To me, that's not on. You don't do that to a guest. So if you invite somebody out on a date and say, may I take you out? Pay for them. because you're the one wanting to take them. You're the one that suggested it. You're the one offering. You're the one shouting. You're the one trying to win that person over. Now, once you get in a relationship or you've been seeing each other for a fair while, of course it goes halvesies. It's more of a hanging out, doing things. It's not, I'm going to take you on a date. I'm going to try and win you over. I'm going to show you a good time. Okay? If you ask someone on a date, pay for them. Now, the same could be in reverse. If there was a woman who was pursuing a man, and she was trying to make him like her, trying to win him over, and she said, hey, I want to take you to the ball game, or whatever the case may be, then it's rude for her to turn around and say, now pay for your bloody ticket. If she had have asked him as a friend, fine, both pay yourself. But if you ask somebody on a date, you pay until you are officially together or seeing each other or exclusive or whatever. You are still in the trying to win her over stage. You are the one putting in effort to make this person like you. So don't turn around and say, pay for your bloody self because you bitches wanted equality. That is bogan thinking. That is so disgusting. Just stop it. Now, there's another issue with that. And the reason that men used to pay for women all the time was that women either couldn't have jobs or were only allowed the jobs that didn't pay much, like being a secretary or something like that. And they were paid less per hour for the same job as a man. Okay, this is why men paid for women. Now, a lot of that has been rectified today, but you will find that there are still a lot of cases where the woman is earning less than the man. Whether that be just because of the chosen professions, perhaps he's a project manager and he's on 80,000 and she's a receptionist or something and she's on 45,000. So, you know, if you've got the money to take her to a nice restaurant, an expensive restaurant, and then you turn around and say, right, pay for yourself, that's not somewhere she probably would have chosen to go herself because she knew it wasn't in her budget. So it's really quite rude to turn around and say, right now, pay for your bloody self. And there are also cases, yes, in the Western world where men are still paid more per hour or more salary than a woman in the same position. Now, I'm not saying this is happening all the time and there are women that earn more than men and all the rest of it. But the general rule is if you ask to take somebody out, you pay. So stop blaming shitty behaviour and getting out of things and being a cheapskate and all the rest of it on equality. Oh, you wanted equality, so now deal with it. That's horrible. That's a horrible, horrible, horrible way to think. If you want to be successful in dating, be a feminist. I don't mean you have to be talking about it all the time and getting angry about it and all the rest of it. You need to support equality. You need to show that you think women are just as good as men. And if you don't think that they are, then you need to really educate yourself. For example, years ago when they had those massive, huge computers that took up entire rooms, it was women's work to be computer programmers. It was not considered men's work. And most computer programmers were women. A lot of women were really good at math back when it was acceptable for them to be, and we weren't told constantly, men are better at math, men are better at math, because it's not true. Back then, the computers were women for the most part. The men built the machines because that was a manly thing, building, okay? The computer programming was seen as women's work until advertising got involved and changed it all and turned it around so that everybody these days thinks men are better at math and that computer programming is a male job. Okay, so you need to really Do your research, guys, because men are not superior to women. There might be certain areas where generally men might be a little bit better at something, or generally women might be a little bit better at something. But you need to lose this men are superior, men are better than women, there's things men can do better than women, blah, 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 blah. Because the only huge difference between the two genders is that, like I said in the beginning, men generally are larger than women, generally have more muscle. So if you think that a woman is less than a man simply because she's got a little bit less muscle, that's crazy. That's like saying a smaller guy is worth less than you, even though he might be more intelligent. He might earn a lot more because he's got a great brain. You need to just think that people are human. Stop separating the genders. Stop blaming your shitty behavior on equality. So anyway, if you're not getting repeat dates, or maybe not even in the first place, because people, if they get to know you a little bit beforehand and they pick up on this, they pick up on your superiority complex, or your faux feminism, as in, oh well, I can be shitty because equality, they're not going to want to date you. They're not going to see you again. So really check yourself, because this behaviour's got to stop. Anyway, I hope that helps some of you, and from Aussie Land, farewell.